They're pretty, but don't take them too far. Hi, this is Nathan Harrison for FindRemodel.com. You may have noticed these nice rounded wall corners, perhaps in a magazine or at a new home. This is called various things in the industry, such as a bullnose sheetrock corner or a rounded mud bead. It's become economical within the last 10 years with the invention and popularity of these rounded plastic parts that go on the corner. It basically creates a softening of the home, and it looks especially good on nice thick features like this. And these rounded corners are capable of all the same tricks that the traditional sharp sheetrock corners are capable of. Ellipses like this, and dyeing into a flat surface like this. It's most common to see these in the south and southwest of the U.S. And I need to point out that this is only for outside corners like this and not inside corners. And normally when you have rounded sheetrock corners, you'll also have nice multi-step trim pieces like this and this on the outside corners, as opposed to the old sharp look that you're used to. Now you'll need to be prepared to pay extra for the trim work on corners like this, and you can see problems beginning to crop up here in situations where it's just not feasible to make the trim adhere to the corner all the way around the radius. We end up with a void that needs to be filled. Here's a situation where the stair skirt comes down and has to terminate, leaving a gap, and it just has to be filled and hand worked to make it look as good as possible. It'll probably never look just perfect. Here's another situation where the design of the trim hasn't really caught up to these sheetrock corners. We have a crack right here. Now everything I've mentioned so far is fairly minor and can be corrected with a little bit of patient patchwork. But here's a trend that I don't like and I recommend you avoid. Sheetrock cased openings. What we have here is a cased opening made completely of sheetrock, and then later a wood casing is added to it, so that we have here the division between the wood and the sheetrock elements, with everything on this side being sheetrock, everything on this side being wood. So this means that the actual face of the jamb is sheetrock. Here's a view toward the floor. Now this presents several problems. First of all, at the floor, cutting into the jamb in order to prepare a threshold or to make floor materials come up butted to the bottom of the jamb and casing has always been difficult, even with wood materials. But now that we're looking at sheetrock and plastic bullnose corners, as you can see here, the task of making the floor transition look good where it butts up against the jamb is going to get really difficult. In fact, I don't think it will ever look as good as a wood door jamb. Here's the other problem. Cased openings and door jambs get beat up. And if this is nothing but sheetrock with trim paint on it, I don't expect it to look very good very long. So I don't recommend that you do this method with the sheetrock cased openings. However, everything else is good and fine and presents only minor problems, and I do recommend that you look into rounded bullnose corners for even a remodel, because even if you have outside corners elsewhere in your existing house that are sharp, they could be reworked fairly easily to be rounded sheetrock corners so as to coordinate with a new addition if you wanted to do rounded corners in the new addition, and then you could have uniformity throughout the house. And if you intend to have thick sheetrock features like this, it's definitely worth looking into.